That changes your spindle feed rate. This side is actually, it should be saying actually what it's running. The spindle, in the spindle location on Mach 3, it says 150, and then over here on the feed rate window it says 6. So over here, that's what's displayed on the screen. 6 is your feed rate and 150 is your spindle speed. So that's F and S for spindle, and then the device here says 100 on both of those, which I think is default. But it's kind of neat. I don't use that feature of it. I just use the X, Y, and Z for setup purposes. It's really nice not to have to reach all the way over there to access the keyboard, when I can very conveniently put this thing, it has magnets on the back. This is the little pads right here, they end up coming off. You see that one there's all out of place. But it sticks down pretty good. It won't wiggle around too much. It's better with the little rubber dials, little rubber feet on it. It doesn't slide, but they're coming off gradually. Get some new ones maybe and stick back up there. Maybe they'll stay up there for a while, but it works pretty good about using this to control my X, Y, and Z for doing my work offset when I locate my workpiece. So that's pretty much how it works there. Sometimes when I've got room, I'll use it down here, and it gives me a little more freedom up here to do all my setting my tool and everything. So that being said, let's walk around to the control panel. I got it over here. This is my that's my workstation where I do most of my programming on Fusion 360 for my pieces that I'm milling. It's a little junky right now because I just went through the electrical panel and cleaned it all out, and for the purpose of using a smooth stepper, I got a smooth stepper hooked up now. That's my power supply for the servos. I have this box is open right now because everything's been in planning for so long, and I'm trying to get everything set up to where I can close this all off. But for right now, I've done so many changes and I just haven't closed the panel off. Haven't really settled down on a full design on the panel itself. Used the entire end of the enclosure, as you can see here, and made that entire end of the enclosure my panel, so I'd have plenty of room so it wouldn't be so crowded and so hard to work in. I had all of my drives for my stepper motors. When I was running stepper motors, I had all these lined up here, up and down here. This whole side was full of drivers and wiring and all for those. And this is a tri-power power supply, 5, 12, 24 volt power supply, and underneath of it I had 3 60 volt switching power supplies mounted for each axis underneath of that. So this side was pretty much full of power supplies. I've got those have been taken out, where I've just done this install on this smooth stepper up here. And again, this is all just trying to get this thing running with this smooth stepper. I've not really done any closing in or final routing of wires and stuff. I've got to get all that reoriented and sorted out and everything, find out how I'm going to do it and all. This is my ribbon cable that I was using before to make my connection from the PC to the breakout board, which is, you don't use that anymore. It goes, the Ethernet connection from the computer goes into the smooth stepper, and then there's a 26 pin on this side coming out of the smooth stepper, goes over to the breakout board, which plugs into the DB25 on the breakout board to communicate, for the smooth stepper to communicate to the board. It's a C11GS board, and there is the number for it. The smooth steppers hook up over here just like the stepper motors did. The only difference in the smooth stepper, there is a wire which let me get a screwdriver to point with here. This wire, this first wire, is just a jumper wire for enabling the board. It has a safety charge pump on it. This just provides 12 volts to the outputs. After the computer is powered up, and when you hit the reset button, it activates this jumper, which in turn puts power on your outputs. So you don't have power to your outputs when you first power the control up, but the computer's not powered up. And it took me a day to figure out how to get that to work again with the smooth stepper, because I had it set up. There's a jumper right there, the top jumper, and what it does is it reverses the function of these relays. So before I had the smooth stepper, I was running these two relays to my contactors for my spindle, this one being forward and this one being reverse. With that jumper right there switched to this side, right now it's on that side. There's two prongs over there, and then the center prong, and then another prong over here. It reverses how these work. The way I've got it hooked up now, it works very well with the smooth stepper, but I lose reverse, which is very seldom used on the milling machine, because I don't do any rigid tapping, and if I go to a belt drive, I'll be able to use my VFD for reversing the spindle. Position had to be changed back, which is set factory the other way, and it works fine that way if you don't try to use reverse. If you try to use reverse, then you have to switch that over in order to get this relay and this relay to work correctly when you power up the control. And when you power up the control, the safety charge pump works differently. It doesn't work exactly the same when you switch that jumper. As long as you power up your computer first, then turn your control on, you don't get outputs until you activate Mach 3. So this way, it works. You don't have to worry about powering up the computer first, or power up the control, which gives you power to your smooth stepper, and you get power to your inputs right here, which is your home switches over here. All of that works, but see, that's my coolant is controlled by this relay right here, so it gets its signal from right here, which is the output. So this would be all my power in, home switch, and then I piggyback one of my home switches so that I could get, because you only get so many inputs over here. Pin 15 is left, and there's a ground. So there's only one input left here for something else that you could use for homing or whatever. It's hooked up. I got it working good. I haven't machined anything yet. I want to try something machining it and see what a difference it makes. It seems to be smoother. I did notice a change in how the machine homed before when it hit the switch. Just as soon as it hit the switch, it would back off immediately. Now it has like a 2-second delay. It'll come up against the switch and then it will back off. I'll show you that before we get done here. But yeah, the smooth stepper was very simple to hook up. I got this, I did some work for a friend of mine, and as payment, he bought me a smooth stepper. I want to thank the guy. His name is Jeff. He's a super guy. He has a machine, done some machine work for him for his conversion parts, and he emailed me the models, and I went through them and did the cam work on them and then machined them for him, and he in turn got me a smooth stepper, and that was very nice of him. I appreciate it. So thanks, Jeff. That's pretty much all for that. The smooth stepper was really simple to hook up. Like the cable came with it. You have to purchase this ribbon cable, which is 26 pin on this side and 25 pin on this side, and they send the cable. This is a Cat 6, which is the one they send is a 5A or 5E, something like that. But this is the same thing. It's exactly the same thing. I think it's just faster or something. So I had plenty of Cat 6, and I was about 3 or 4 feet short of being able to get my connection. So I just made me up another cable. This is a through, more or less what they call a through connection. It's the same on one end as it is the other. It's not a crossover connection. This is also configured to be a straight through shot. This is pin 1 location or port 1 location on the smooth stepper. With the smooth stepper, you will get a option for two extra ports. This is, I believe this is port 2, and I believe that's port 3. And then there's an expansion port here. I haven't looked into that, but it is nice to have an expansion for your machine. So these are very nice options here, because you're so limited with inputs and outputs on this side. You can actually snap another board in here, and you can actually have I/O on another port in your machine. So that's a very nice feature. Very good expandability there. That's another reason why a lot of people go with smooth steppers. Now these smooth stepper boards, there are breakout boards that plug right into these smooth steppers, and they are powered from the smooth stepper, which works great with that type of system. This type of system, where you have an external board that's connected with the ribbon cable, you have to pick up your power, has to be coming from somewhere else. So they recommend that the smooth stepper is powered up first, then the board gets powered up. But the way I've got the safety charge pump set up, I power both of them up at the same time, and there's no outputs going on when you first power it up. So essentially it's just like powering up the smooth stepper first, and then when you hit the reset button on the computer, this gets full operation after that. So I think it works. It's working so far, so I don't have any issues now since I've switched that little jumper on the top there, this one up here, this jumper right here on the top. Since I switched that over to the factory setting, it works great now. So it worked great before, but with the smooth stepper, it just doesn't work. So that relay causes some kind of conflict in the system. So I just done away with it. I'll get the belt drive on here. I'll be able to do everything I want to do with that, and I won't have to worry about having that. And that's the power supply again. Plenty of power there. That thing is very big. That's a very big power supply. It's heavy. I'm thinking about putting it in here, but